Today I'm going to break down how startup investments work. Stick around. By the way, if you want the system that we're covering in this video as a free checklist, grab the link in the description. You can have a PDF of everything we talked about. Before we get into it, let me talk a little bit about my background in startup investing. I was the CMO at a startup that was valued at over $100 million, Silicon Valley startup, living out in South San Francisco, eating Filipino food all day. It was some of the best moments of my life, honestly. I've also invested in multiple companies, and I'm the CEO of a conglomerate right now that has multiple small business units inside of it. And today, I'm going to talk about how startup investment works from this point of view, because these aren't multi-million-dollar investments I'm making. These are $5,000 at a time, $2,500 at a time, investments that anybody could make. So we've all seen these videos on YouTube about startup investments. We've seen the opinion of the multi-million-dollar angel investor who's throwing cash around and raising $100 million Series A's and stuff like that. Well, I don't want to talk about any of that because in my core, I'm a bootstrapped founder. I don't believe in taking other people's money. I will give other people my money, but I wouldn't take investment. Even for our film company, I've been bootstrapping the whole thing. I don't believe in that. But as an investor, I do believe in giving people money in order to get money out. There are 3 different approaches that I take when I think about my business investments, and I want to break down all 3 of them here, and hopefully you can learn something from them. Number 1 is buy and die, meaning you put money into a startup and you're just taking money out and you're just watching it slowly either plateau or die and just hoping to get an ROI on that. We did this with one of our investments, Simple Apps, where we bought this app company. It was a series of 4 apps. We bought this company for $2,500 and it was making about $400 a month. And we just kind of wrote it out. And we've seen it's still running. My co-founder Robert took over and just started repairing it a little bit so it wouldn't die completely and we were still delivering the product. And it's still around. But we've generated 4 to 5 times on that initial $2,500 using the buy and die strategy. Buy and die means you just put money in and you just take cash, take profit as the company slowly dies. That's number 1 is buy and die. The second one is growing it. You can buy a business to grow it, which is also a good strategy. I talk about this in our podcast interview with Ryan Culp. If you want to listen to that, that's on YouTube as well. Buying and growing a company means you buy an undervalued asset. I'm talking like a business school guy right now. You buy an undervalued asset. So let's say we had bought Simple Apps for $2,500 and then you reinvest and you take your skills as a marketer and you use that to grow the business to $25,000 a month. And then you're good to go. And you're getting a really good return on the money. Honestly, I don't have too much experience with that. I have gotten so much out of the buy and die strategy. But in this podcast with Ryan Culp, we talk a lot about growing an asset. And he did the same with his company FOMO. He bought a undervalued asset and he grew it into FOMO, which is a multi-million-dollar company now. So he definitely has done this. This is a thing that people do. I like buy and die because it's just, hey, put this money in. Can I turn this money into 2 times the money I put in? So check out that podcast for more info. What that comes down to is you buy an asset where you know that you can immediately add value. For instance, if I was going to buy an asset to grow for the Alex Berman brand for this YouTube channel and everything inside the quadrant and all that stuff, if I was going to buy an asset there, I would buy something that fit perfectly into the monetization we already have. So for instance, right now, we have a high ticket offer with X27 where we're selling 6-figure contracts for a done-for-you service. We have a product, Email 10K, where we're selling the $1,000 offer one time. If I was going to acquire a company, it would be something in probably the B2B marketing and sales space that was in the middle, probably a sales tool, something similar to a Yesware or a Mailshake. That would actually fit really well in our portfolio right in the middle, or maybe even a CRM, something like a Close.io type of product would fit in. And I just did a quick analysis there. And that's the way you should be thinking when it comes to acquisitions if you're going to grow. Where is your current strength and what sort of company should you buy to increase that strength? And I use my personal brand as an example. Use your background to figure it out. So if you've been an entrepreneur, let's say you're like one of our consulting clients and you started a tool that does Instagram growth management. So that is a software as a service company related to social media. If you wanted to buy other companies that were your competitors, you could do that and buy other growth companies within Instagram and do that. If you wanted to push out, you could buy a Facebook bot. You could buy a Twitter bot. You could even buy a growth agency, a done for you, and try to add an enterprise level thing to it. Or even buy somebody else's existing successful online course and then use your marketing skills to grow it through your current audience. If you haven't started a business before And in that Cult podcast, I talk about how this is actually the easiest way to get into entrepreneurship. I would think about your corporate background, meaning, let's say you have saved 10K and you've been in finance. Buy a software company that does something in finance, that sells to a similar market that you already sell to. Or if you've done retail, buy a company that does retail. That's the way I would think about it. And then the final thing is, are you buying an asset or are you buying a project? That's the thing I think about with all of my investments as well. What is my time that I need to spend on this business? For Simple Apps, the time that I needed to spend to 6 times our money was 0 minutes a week for 4 years. Whatever. The more I don't work on it, the more money is just being printed every month, and it doesn't matter. If I had bought an enterprise level consulting company and tried to incorporate it into X27, that would have been a project. And I would have been tweaking and working on the system, trying to grow the asset into a more valuable asset, ideally to then sell. Because if you can buy a business, then you can sell a business. That's asset versus project. If you're buying an asset, that means that you're buying something that's not going to take up any of your time, ideally, 0 of your time. Sometimes it takes up like a half hour a month or something and just makes you money. If you're buying a project, which is what I recommend for new entrepreneurs, if you're in the corporate world and you have some money, like you're making $300,000 a year at Salesforce or something, you want to become an entrepreneur, I would buy a project, a company that is already making money that you can then take to the next level. And if you're buying one of those, just know what you're buying. The main thing you don't want to do is go in thinking you're buying an asset that's going to deliver value and take up none of your time and end up buying a project that destroys your life, that just sucks up all your time. And the easiest way that I've found to avoid that is a simple thought experiment. Would I be okay letting this company die? And if the answer is yes, then you don't have to worry, because if it starts taking up 40, 60, 70, 80 hours of your time, you just let it die. You just stop working on it and it doesn't matter, it just dies. If not, then it's a project, and just be willing to accept the fact that it might take 40 to 60 hours of your life to grow this thing. It's not that you wouldn't be able to make money. You might even make more money with an asset like that. But just know in terms of time, because life is short. That's that. Life is short, and if you're not willing to cut a business when it's not performing, investing might not be for you. If you're running a cold email marketing campaign and you're getting under 80% as your open rate, grab this free document. This is 50 subject lines to test. I've sent over 2 million cold emails. We've generated over $100 million in leads. Click the link below. You can have all these subject lines. Thanks for watching the video. If you want a breakdown of what we talked about here, you can grab it in the description below. If you want more info on our course, which talks about how to book meetings with billion-dollar companies for your company, you can check out email10k.com. Sign up to our email list. We've got a whole bunch of various things that we can send you, valuable things, a free proposal, free contract. It's all down below. Subscribe to this channel. We do videos 3 times a week. Leave a comment. Let me know what you're struggling with. I would love to help you out in the comments. And stick around. I'm Alex Berman. Thanks for watching.